Welcome. Third day of World Travel Market Social Media Seminars. Sorry a bit late, but we're waiting for you to come in from behind the guards keeping you out, so nice to see you here. My name's Steve Keenan. My colleague Mark from Travel Perspective. We do the social media seminars for World Travel Market. It's our fourth year now. Delighted to be here. First year on the German stand, last 2 years on the Turkey stand. And so before I start, I'd just like to invite Klaus, who's the UK Director of the German National Tourist Board, just to welcome you to his stand. Klaus, would you like to say hello?
Thank you, Steve. Guten Morgen, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Germany. Herzlich willkommen in Deutschland. I would love to extend a warm welcome on behalf of the German Tourist Board and especially on behalf of the German National Tourist Office, UK and Ireland. Be welcome, have an interesting morning. Please stay on all morning. There is German Gemütlichkeit later on. There's a lunch involved. Please come back, stay on, and have a nice time. Have a good time. I know, and I leave it now to the experts. Feel invited to stay, as said, and yeah, guten Tag, have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Klaus. Right, without further ado, first speaker up today is Matt Eames. He's from FIFO. Who knows FIFO? Who's heard of FIFO? Everybody aware? The rest of you probably interested in the idea of customer reviews. I think it's a fascinating area. Matt will tell you that 75% of people who travel now want the capability to leave a review. So that's turning on its head all the way around. People expect to have the chance to write what they think about where they've been, where they've stayed, and so on. And once you do that, anybody who runs a tourism and travel brand will start to realize they need to have reviews as well. But they're probably terrified of reviews. I won't leave it to say any more. I'll invite Matt up here to explain all about why you need and should have reviews today. Matt Eames, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. I'll make an apology, first of all, to the sound of my voice. I think the WTM networking has got largely the better of me this week. 4 days of this is enough to kill anyone. So what qualifies me to stand up here and tell you about ratings and reviews? Let me tell you a bit about FIFO, which might help. I noticed a few of you put your hands up when asked if you'd heard of us. So if you haven't heard of us, FIFO, we're a ratings reviews company. We've been around for 4 years. We now have over 1,800 clients, not just in the UK, but across the globe. We actually operate in every sector. Travel, interestingly, isn't our largest sector, although it is the most fun. Our largest is indeed ratings reviews in fashion and apparel. We send out 6 requests to review every single second, and we actually receive a review every 6 seconds. So that means that someone somewhere in the world is always writing a review on FIFO, which is wonderful. We've got lots of ambitions, and not just in travel, but also in all the other verticals, and hopefully we'll take on the US, which is a very large market for us to look into next. But for now, what I wanted to do for the next 15-20 minutes was really talk to you about the power of reviews for both consumers and businesses. And I'm going to do that by sharing with you a lot of stats that back up just how important reviews are. Now, if you've been away for the past 5 years and haven't bothered to read a single thing, then this stat may come as a surprise to you. But generally, people are accepting that reviews are everywhere in society these days, and especially in travel. They work so well. And of course, 83%, as this stat shows, of people are influenced by ratings and reviews when booking or exploring travel. It's a huge stat, and it's only getting larger and larger the more that you're able to interact with reviews now that iPhones have such easy apps to do so. And as Steve said, 75%, so 3/4 of everyone that is making a transaction with you expects to leave a review. Now, this is a huge shift. If you think about it, over the years, you've not had the ability or the anything that's enabled you to leave reviews so easily. So in the past, you had people leaving reviews that had this polar view. They were either absolutely delighted or really, really angry. And they were the only ones that could actually go out their way to leave a review, whether by, in the early days, by letter, telephone or email. Nowadays, it's so easy to leave a review, people expect to be able to do so. half of them as well will not actually book a hotel without a review. That's an incredible stat. And for any people working in the hotel industry in the audience now, I'm sure you already realise this, but if you haven't got those reviews, or if you're not surfacing those reviews yourself, people are looking for them elsewhere, and of course that could be dangerous for your bookings. And it's not just in hotels, as you would expect. Diners, 30% of them are looking for reviews before actually booking that restaurant, and they won't eat at those restaurants unless they contain a review. So it's hugely important for even the restaurants themselves to have them. And I thought this was a great stat as well. There's no point having reviews and not actually working with them. As a merchant, as a hotelier, a restaurant owner, a tourist operator, whoever you might be, actually you need to engage with the people that are leaving reviews with you. And this is just one of the reasons why 65% of people would choose an establishment that actually engages back with their customers who've left reviews over an establishment that hasn't. So if I'm looking at two hotels and the prices are pretty similar, the locations are similar, everything about the hotel looks fairly similar, actually if that hotelier has bothered to reply to the reviews that are being left for them, I'm going to go and book with them. So 40% of personal travellers and just over that 46% of business travellers are using social networking to share their travel experiences. And I think that's an important stat to realise that it's not just social, it is business as well. I'll come on to some more business reasons in a moment. And 68% of consumers trust reviews more when they see both good and bad scores. And we'll focus on this in a few slides' time, but it's very important for any merchant out there to realise that you have to take the good with the bad. And this is just astounding. Almost all, 95% of unhappy customers would actually return to you if the issue is dealt with quickly and efficiently. And that's incredible. I mean, if you look at the cost of acquiring a new client versus the cost of actually keeping a client, it's a phenomenal difference. So if you have a bad experience with a client and you're able to understand what their problems are and put those problems right, or even just apologise, that client is much more likely to come back to you. And that's an astounding stat. Certainly something that everyone should be using. So a third of business travellers as well post reviews of places they've been. An astounding stat to think that actually I'm away on business and I'm still interacting. I still want to make sure that my social networking is up to date. And just over half of business travellers have actually made their plans based on the reviews and experiences of other people. So again, this is not just limited to consumers. We are also working at FIFO on making sure that leaving reviews about bricks and mortar businesses is made as easy and secure as possible. And by secure, I mean that not just anyone can leave a review, whether they want to or not. You have to have been able to prove that you're there. And interestingly, in this area, 73% of consumers say that the reviews make them trust a local business far more. So it could be a cafe, a sandwich shop, clearly a hotel. But anything really should be getting into this space. And this is incredible. So before someone goes to your establishment, 85% of people will actually be investigating your business before they visit. 85%, a huge stat. This one is even more incredible. Almost 2/3 of consumers are reading about you whilst they're in your establishment. And again, if you're not able to surface the content that reflects your brand well enough, they will simply be looking elsewhere. And actually, if that content isn't favourable, if you haven't interacted with that content, if you haven't policed that content, then unfortunately they could be reading something that really you don't want them to. Now, even a product with a 1-star review has 107% more chance of selling compared to a product with no reviews. And that is an astounding statistic. So again, I'm going to come on to a bit more about the importance of having surfacing negative reviews, but look at the difference that can actually make to your business. Question to the audience: what do you think is the most important thing about a travel review? Anyone? Star ratings. Yeah? Any other thoughts? When you're reading reviews, what do you want the review to be for you? Trustworthy. Trust is absolutely right. Trust is the number one thing that people are looking for when they're reading reviews. And do you know what? It is so simple to gain trust. Number one, you have to guarantee the review from genuine customers. It's no good allowing just anyone to leave a review. We have problems with websites that you'll know of where I can leave a review about any hotel, about any restaurant in the world, whether or not I've been there. Now, that could be a very good thing because actually I might be entitled to do that. But actually for those people that are making bogus comments, that may be competitors, nutters, whatever it might be, they're leaving these reviews and it's just not fair. So you have to be able to guarantee that that person is eligible to leave a review about the place or the experience that they've had. And two, do not moderate. This is hugely important. Probably one of the biggest hurdles that we have to overcome at FIFO when a merchant is talking to us about joining is their fear of having bad reviews and actually showing those bad reviews on their own website. But they mustn't moderate them because actually if you think about it, if you and the audience go out of your way to leave a review about an establishment and that review is either moderated or not posted, then how's that going to make you feel? Generally, it's going to make you feel pretty bad about it. Now, if you have access to other social networks, or certainly you have access to your mates on those social networks, you may be well disposed to actually do something about that and make even more of a mess of it for that merchant. So, embrace those negatives. And this is why consumers actually spend 4 times as long on a site when they interact with bad reviews. And of course, for you as website owners, that's a massive stat. Google is clearly rewarding you for having a sticky content on your pages, and putting content which actually might be a little bit close to the bone for you on there is a very important thing that you must do. And bear in mind, actually something that's negative for a person that's posted it on your website might not be negative for me. And I'll give you an example. You know, I looked at a review for a hotel complex, and actually it had a fantastic looking swimming pool, and one review was really, really negative and said the swimming pool was full of really annoying young children. I have 2 really annoying young children, and so for them it's absolutely perfect. For my wife and I to just let them go off and be annoying with other annoying children, well, that's the holiday I want. So that review isn't negative to me. Actually, a negative review as well, or sites which post negative reviews convert 67% more highly than the average customer. So actually, if I am interacting with your negatives, I am more likely to buy from you. Fantastic stat. And 30% of people suspect censorship, actually, if you do not post a negative review. Imagine that, you know, you only post 100% scores. Well, actually, you can imagine, I'm not quite believing about this. Now, that's an interesting dilemma for those companies that do deserve to retain that 100% score, because then, you know, people are going to look at it and say, I would prefer to read some negatives. And, you know, that is something that perhaps you need to overcome. But, you know, it's an important stat to show that you really mustn't take those negatives out. And again, this is why a tiny, tiny proportion of all consumers say, just 5%, that they wouldn't buy a product with bad reviews. Only 5%. It's negligible. And, you know, companies spend billions on reputation management and growing a brand. And actually, what they really need to do is use their customer base to do it for them. It's a very, very simple concept. So what else can reviews do for you? Well, they improve your search rankings. If you interact with companies like FIFO, who have licensed content partnerships with the likes of Google, Yahoo and Bing, then actually your service reviews are surfaced as gold stars that you see in AdWord campaigns, and I'll show you what that looks like soon. That's a really important thing for your business. You can also generate gold stars with the right setup in natural search results as well, and again, increases your traffic. But of course, if you have lovely user-generated rich content which can be posted onto your site and is dynamically changing every time a new review is posted, Google loves it. It's like adding a blog to every one of your pages. It's a really smart thing to do, and of course all you're doing is allowing a customer to do it for you. This is what the stars look like in your AdWord campaigns. So this is one of our customers. 17,000 service reviews convert to gold stars for them. When consumers read those AdWords and they see those gold stars, actually according to Google, you get a 17% higher click-through rate than your competitors. Now, interestingly as well, because let's say 3 adverts are surfaced when you're searching, the bottom one, which could be you, has got the gold stars. Your consumers are clicking through to your AdWord. Google are rewarding you even further because you're getting the lion's share of clicks. And because those people that are clicking through to your website are actually spending longer on your site as well, Google is rewarding you even further. And what you may find from doing that is that your Google site quality score increases and that your cost per click may decrease. So again, another nice thing to go along with everything that's happening in the social space. You can also share all those reviews. You know, as a merchant, there's easy access to Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and so on. We've made apps that are very quick to download for you as merchants. Draw those reviews. Make it simple for consumers to read those reviews and interact with them on your already established social networking sites. As equally, allow me as your customer to do that to my mates on Facebook. If I can easily show that review on your Facebook, on my Facebook page, and share that with my friends and family, then of course that's just spreading the message on your behalf. It's free. Allow them to do it. This is really interesting as well. Putting reviews next to products, so the actual booking that you're expecting customers to make, is a really important thing. Don't just allow people to go elsewhere and find them. Put them onto your pages. We talked about how important that is for your social and for Google to find that content on your page. Actually, by putting it into your pages, allows customers to interact much better and then increase their conversion. On average, believe it or not, by adding reviews onto product pages where consumers have the ability to buy your product, you can increase your conversion by about 18%. 18% increase in conversion just by putting gold stars onto page. Interestingly as well, we did some A/B testing with a bunch of merchants, and we found that the placement of those gold stars on your page is very important too. And whilst we mucked around with placing it all the way around the page, we found that by putting it next to the buy now button, you know, add to cart, whatever it might be, it can actually increase your conversion by a further 9%. So it's little simple tricks that we can help you with to really make the most of your sales. So in summary, if you are not using customer reviews properly, then you can bet that your competitors will be. Here's a bunch of them that already use FIFO to give you an idea of the caliber of companies that use us. But equally, it can be just a single tour operator, travel agent working from home. We have the ability to help everyone. So, thank you very much. I believe we're going to have some questions now as well. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that.
Thanks very much, Matt. Come and join me. Join me here.
Cheers.
As I said earlier, I find this fascinating part of the travel industry now. Of not only do you expect to have that, but if you don't have it, your competitor's going to have it, so therefore you're going to have this, whether you like it or not. But that, you mentioned the fear factor there. That must be a huge hurdle for people to get over. The idea that it's all out there and you're going to have to respond to this.
It is. Yeah.
You touched on it there, but what's your psychology to tell them, don't worry, it'll be all right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a good one. So the easiest answer to give them on that one is you are still in business. So if actually the majority of your customers didn't like you, you would not be operating today. And as I mentioned in the speech, you know, historically, it was quite difficult to actually give feedback. You had to write a letter or more recently write an email, pick up the phone, which actually Brits don't particularly like to pick up the phone. Different people around the world actually interestingly will. But so historically, you only heard from those people with a polar view, and people got worried about receiving feedback. Nowadays, if you're asking absolutely everyone and you're making it simple for them to do so, you'll hear from a cross-section across your entire customer base. And of course, you know, those people are generally delighted. It's just that they just aren't motivated enough to go out of their way to do anything about it, to make it simple. And also, you know, on FIFO, our average score across all of our merchants is just over 94%, which is huge. It's not because we handpick them, it's because people generally do a really great job.
How much does social media work alongside this? Is it because social media is that ability for everybody to go and complain, therefore the reviews have come up in parallel with that?
I think so. I mean, And you say, you know, people have the ability to go and complain, but actually more people are expressing themselves with delight. Yes, you can complain. You should be able to complain. If someone gets it wrong, you should have the ability to tell them about it. Now, this is the other interesting thing. If you're not allowing people to tell you about it directly, and it's therefore much easier for them to tell the rest of the world, then you're losing the conversation. And, you know, wouldn't you rather know about that conversation, about that problem, and put it right, even publicly put it right, rather than allowing some conversation to go on a site that you can't interact with and you certainly can't take down?
Yeah. So what's the timing on this? How long after somebody returns do you send them an email inviting them to? Well,
it's entirely up to the merchant, but we recommend actually 2 reviews. So 1 review after making the booking, at the time of making the booking, and then a further review after returning from the trip, the holiday, whatever it might be. If it's been a hotel stay for business, then generally it's 1 day. If it's been a 2-week holiday with the family, then it could be up to 7 days afterwards.
Okay.
Interestingly as well now, people are expecting to leave reviews whilst on holiday.
Well, I was going to touch on that. Marco, Media Hotels, will talk about this in the next session, but using social media to stay in touch with your guests during their travels. Yeah. Presumably, it's the next logical step for something like your company to post a review while you're on holiday. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're working on apps which will allow people to post short videos and upload photos about what, you know, the places that they are. And it will be good and bad, but largely based on the reviews that we see already, it will be good. The reason that we sadly haven't been able to do something with this already is because you don't want some inappropriate images being uploaded. So we're working on technology that will stop that, basically. Really? But the point is that, you know, I'm sure you've read the stats previously about the amount of video content that's being posted on YouTube every single minute. It's a huge statistic, and people want to interact with it. And actually, if you make it so that it's not too long a video, if you make it so it's filed properly, and you make it so it's interesting for the customer, for me to be able to go on and just see a few snippets about what people have said about that hotel on a video whilst they're there, dynamite.
This is, we're moving to the psychology here of the person who wants to leave a review. I mean, who leaves reviews when they go on a trip to a hotel? Quite a few of you. And you want to do that because you want to share that information with people? People do want to share this.
Absolutely.
Do they want to post video as well? Would you?
Well, would you?
No.
I think photos, absolutely. I mean, yeah. let's face it, you know, probably everyone in this room has got a Facebook page, and probably you all upload your photos into that Facebook page. You're sharing those, you know, personal photos, not intimate, hopefully, on Facebook to the world. People are prepared to do this, and you're seeing it more and more. And actually, we already know that people are sharing photos of their new purchases on Facebook. You're seeing it. So actually, you should capture that, and you should make sure that you're enabling those people to post that content on your site instead.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. How much does it cost? How long's a piece of...
Yeah, no, actually, I mean, you know, different review companies work in different ways. We're very, very open about our costings. We base it on the number of bookings that are made on average on a monthly basis. So actually, you can buy into FIFA as cheap as £99 a month. And that's for companies that make up to 200 bookings a month. Up to, you know, our off-the-shelf pricing is £99, £299 or £499 a month. And the £499 is for up to 5,000 bookings a month. Yeah, absolutely.
And as the BBC would say, other review sites are available. But they clearly are, because these sites are coming out. There's not just you. There's lots of these review sites coming out now. There's a demand. There's a marketplace for it.
There is. You know, I'm pleased to say we were one of the first brands to start making it in this space. You know, now with more than 1,800 clients, and you know, we've got almost 6 million service reviews and almost 15 million product reviews. Yeah. We are the largest in the UK, the largest independent review company in the UK. So, you know, we've been pretty well established. And you're right, people do want to get into this space, and it's a fabulous space to work with.
Well, one of the many stats you put up there was, I think it's 107% more likely to book with a holiday brand or tourism brand that responds to your comments?
Actually, it's 65% more likely to book with a brand that responds.
Okay.
107% is about only having one review with 1 star over a product with no reviews.
It was a Welter of statistics.
It was a stack of statistics.
lost
I
track of the
appreciate,
stats.
yeah.
But how many people in a position do respond to comments left on their site? And most, I would imagine, don't want to engage or have the staff or the time to do that.
Actually, most want to engage. Those that do engage really, really do get the most out of reviews. I mean, superbly. If you have negative reviews, it's only that those customers are coming via a review site rather than actually contacting you directly. And surely, if someone was stood in front of you at your reception desk complaining about something, you're not going to turn a blind eye to it. Yeah. So actually, I would suggest that replying on a keyboard at your convenience is much easier than having to deal with an irate customer there and then. So yeah, absolutely, people are doing it, and more and more people, more and more merchants are understanding the power of interacting with those reviews.
And I imagine that would save you money in the long run because you're not having to do all the legal paperwork after the event if somebody does complain and
Correct.
You have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's as I said, we work in both travel and a lot in fashion and apparel. And in both sectors, when you deal with someone that's had a negative and you can put it right, either you can save them cancelling the booking or ever coming back to you, which is huge, or you can save them returning a good to you, which again can be a big cost to you. And you can actually, if you do find that you've got a problem that is surfaced via a number of people giving you reviews, you can put it right. And think how much better that is for your business. Lots of businesses are so busy all the time. It's very difficult to focus on where you should make your changes and where you can grow and where you should stop doing the bad stuff. And your customers can tell you. But of course, it's no point having this noise. You've got to be able to action it. So, one of the buzzwords that we use at FIFO is actionable insights. And it's making sure that actually, if I do have thousands of reviews, I can really hone in on where I need to focus my attention and my effort to make sure that I get things better.
Okay. It obviously works for simple travel products like hotels, flights. Yep. That's for tour operators. It can scale as well. Yep. Can it work for tourist boards and all elements of
easily?
Tourism?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, FIFO is all about generating reviews from people that are entitled to do so. So as long as you have access to those people, which clearly you do because you're interacting with them, then you just give them the opportunity to tell you honest feedback.
Great. Can I just take the mic for a second? I don't know why I need 2 mics. I was going to hand this around though, but a couple of you nodding there in the middle saying you do leave reviews, like to leave images and so on. Can I just ask you out of curiosity, if I give you the microphone, what sector of the industry are you in, why are you interested in it, and of what points that Matt raised did you find most interesting? Perhaps you two in the middle, if you'd like to comment.
Hi, that was really interesting, thank you. We all work for low-cost travel group and specifically low-cost holidays. We use reviews and we're very heavily looking at our strategy for customer reviews.
Yeah.
I guess the biggest question for us is, our customers, when they come back, they review the whole part of the holiday. So they review hotel, they review flight, and what we really want is some kind of review of how the booking experience was and their experience with our brand in particular. How do you think that we...
It's a really simple answer, actually, I hope. You ask them before they go away. And simply that's it. So we, as I was suggesting earlier, we generally suggest that there's 2 touch points. It can be more than that, but generally it's 2. Asking them directly after making the booking is a really, really important thing to do, because that's when the only thing on their mind is, how was that experience? How was the operator? How was the person I went in to see? How was your website? How was the payment processing? All of those things are actually important to you as a business. Must be asked as soon as possible after that. Now, interestingly as well, you can, let's say I book a holiday, it's on average, 8 months before perhaps I go away on that holiday. Within that 8-month period from booking to going, it's likely I'm going to interact with you again. So just prior to me going on that holiday, ask me again. How was everything, all those steps in between, how did that work for you? And then clearly, on return. One of the other ways of maximising the actionable insight, as we call it, is actually giving data to us to invite us to leave the feedback, which includes information about who actually interacted with them. So, in your call centre, maybe you've got 100 people. You just tell us who the first person is, and they made 20 bookings, they've got 10 reviews, overall their score is 90%. You can use that in KPIs to incentivise your staff, and people do.
You're not actually a review side, are you? You're a customer research operation.
Largely, that's a really interesting comment, because people buy reviews initially because they want to increase traffic and increase sales. Actually, the reason that they largely stay with reviews, other than the fact that they're getting this incredible uplift in sales, is that they realise the data, the information that comes back is just invaluable. I was saying earlier on to Mark, Expedia are our largest client by volume. They now have a get-together meeting every single Friday called a FIFO Friday, and their vice president in the United States dials into this meeting, and they talk about what FIFO's telling them that week. It's a really, really, really crucial thing that you must do.
Low-cost Fridays then?
Definitely. Just one last question as well. When we're talking about, a lot of our bookings are last-minute bookings as well. Do you think it's best to be asking through the booking process, to be sending an email? I'm conscious that we're going to be firing loads of information at these people. We want to obviously get them to leave reviews. What would you suggest is the best way to contact them for those?
Well, don't ask during the booking process, because the only thing you want them to do is book. Yeah. So one thing you can do, however, in the booking process to reduce abandoned baskets is to highlight how good you are at customer service on the confirmation page, on the click here to buy page, and input your details. Actually, we've seen some pretty significant stats that prove that by putting those scores and perhaps a bunch of headline reviews in there to show off how good you are at customer service will increase the bookings at that stage. Then ask them, but ask them probably via email. You could do it, let's say I make a booking, I'm taken to a confirmation page, so I've done it, you've got my money. You could absolutely ask me there, and I might well do it. Equally, following up with an email actually is quite neat, because I can deal with that when I'm ready. And often, as you'll probably find, people are making bookings in their lunch hours, or then again in the evening when they've put the kids to bed. So if it's in the lunch hour, maybe I'm doing it a little bit sneakily, maybe I need to flick away quite quickly and get back to work. Sending that email when the kids have gone to bed, perfect.
Imagine there's a fine line though, not bombarding people with too much. Asking too much of people. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, we've got some pretty interesting companies that use FIFO. One of them is a model railway company. The average number, I know it's bizarre, isn't it? The average number of items that their customers purchase is 27. And incredibly, people will actually leave a review for every single item that they've purchased.
Tells you a lot about model railway.
I think it probably does.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, that was lovely. Thank you very
much.
Pleasure.
Probably time for one or two more questions. Anybody like to raise a comment or ask a question to Matt while he's here? Anybody? We're all okay? Well, that's good. Just thank you very much. That really interesting analysis. But it's going to go this way, isn't it? Nothing can be unreviewed, not remarked on. Is that what we expect in the next 5 to 10 years? It's going to be wall-to-wall data reviews of everything.
I think we're actually there already, aren't we? Access to reviews is so much easier. Access to leave a review is available everywhere. I think now it's about being smarter with it, and number one, making sure that you are harnessing the power of the reviews yourself, rather than allowing your customers or expecting your customers to do the work. Give them the information. Give them access to leaving a review with you. And number two is actioning those insights.
Big sneaky question.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
Can you shout? No, you can't shout loud enough. Hang on a sec.
Oh, that was nice.
Short and snappy.
So our company just recently purchased one of our competitors that had gone through a nasty bankruptcy and had a really bad reputation. So we're in the middle of rebranding the entire thing. And my question is, we still aren't 100% sure how much of the general population or typical traveler knows about what went on. The operators in the back end and the suppliers, they all know, obviously. So if we're going to be doing these reviews and putting stuff up on our Buy Now or Book Here page, is it important to mention reviews like since under new ownership, blah, 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 or should we just kind of steer clear of that and hope the general public doesn't know?
Well, so my recommendation there would be that you generate reviews now. So you surface those reviews under the new company. You know, you've brought this new company because you're going to make it better.
Yeah.
You're not going to allow it to trade under the same terrible ways that it did before. So actually you are going to have a bunch of really, really happy customers. They're the people that you want reviews from, surely.
And we do. We already have reviews from our new customers.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a fine line. We're just like, who knows what and how much damage control do we need to do with the general public?
And you know what? I would hazard a guess that actually your new customers, some of them will be old customers as well, that have gone through that change, maybe had the pain previously and gone through the change. What will be interesting is if those old customers come out openly and say, this is so much better. You know, well done, I'm really impressed.
Right.
That sort of review is dynamite. You can't buy that marketing power. So that's what you want to aim for.
I imagine exactly that would enhance the review, wouldn't it? So you were so bad, but now well done sort of thing. I invite you to put your hands together for Matt Eames from FIFO. Very useful.
My pleasure. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. All right.